How is everyone doing today? In this video, we are going to talk about the huge, and I mean huge update we got to Heaven Burns Red with a lot of quality of life changes and a bunch of extra things that we did receive with us supposed to be getting the, 1.5 anniversary update. We ended up getting the 3rd anniversary quality of life update, which I think is actually kind of insane that we're getting all of these things at the current moment. Now, there are a couple of things we still don't have that JP currently has, but we have a lot of new stuff and a lot of really good quality of life to a lot of the different modes, a lot of the ways we build characters. So we're going to be going through basically everything new in Heaven Burns Red. And not only that, in the next video that I'm going to be posting, we are of course going to be taking on score battle with Yuri and Kanade so that you can see how good these Angel Beast characters are. Other than that, make sure to leave a like, comment, sub, all that different type of stuff. We are very close to 1,000 subs. That'd be super cool if we could hit that very soon. But let's go ahead and start talking about all the different changes that we've gotten within this update. Some of the more basic things that we did get: you can now look at your rank in the home menu screen, and not only that, you're actually allowed to see what unlocks when. So you're able to see when specific modes, when specific difficulties get unlocked for any of these characters or any of these modes through your story progress, and of course your max level, which is really great. This is helping streamline the process of having some type of goal to hit, and also to see some type of progression happen towards your account, which is really nice. Another thing that you can see from the home screen is that we now have reserved life stones. These come at a 4-to-1 ratio, so 4 life stones that you missed when they are overcapped is going to turn into 1 reserve life stone. You can use these as you have the over surplus of life stones, I guess you could say. I have 98 right here. They basically work in the same exact fashion. Of course, it's better to use your life stones and then of course let them build up naturally, instead of just letting the reserve ones hit. The reserve life stones are realistically for those that aren't going to be logging into the game as much, so that is going to be something to point out. Other than that, they did change a couple of menus around. The story menu is legit going to be just story for the most part. Usually they had the accessory button here and some other buttons as well, but this is going to be for the most part just story related items, or I guess you say modes in the game. While we have the event tab being of course regular events, but we do have this new button right here is going to be the token exchange. Now this token exchange is going to allow us to have all the different shops when it comes to the GP shop, the GGP shop. Accessory crafting is now going to be here in this tab, and then we also have the premium token exchange and the crystal exchange. Now the crystal exchange is something that we are going to talk about in a quick minute, and then not only that, we also have the premium token exchange, which this is going to be coming from the Anacronies as well. There's a lot of stuff to talk about after we leave this home screen, so I'm very excited to start talking about all of it. Now within the missions, we now have weekly points, and these weekly points, of course, you're allowed to do any of these objectives to be able to max out your weekly missions. And these weekly missions are not only going to allow you to get delimiter points, but also give you some guaranteed S tickets, which is really nice. And then of course, with that being said, we are also going to look at our memorias. Now within this, I say, moment of looking at all the memorias, of course we see that now we have the outfit shop. You have to be limit break at a certain point of some of these characters to be able to grab the outfit for these guys. For SS's is limit break 3, I think, or is it limit break 2? It's limit break 2 if I'm not wrong. For SS's is limit break 2, for S's is limit break 10, and for A's is limit break 20. So for any of these characters that you want their outfits for other characters, well, that is how it's going to be. If you want to share, like, let's say the Fire Megumi outfit, you need to be limit break 2, and then you can swap this over to any of the other characters. Or maybe I want the regular Megumi outfit, which her outfit's so good actually, to be on side the Fire Megumi. Now she can be the outfit for all of the Megumis if you so want to. So this is a little quality of life, which is really nice to see that we can have for all your favorite characters, which is really nice. And then going into the memorias themselves, we have a brand new screen for all Memoria. Now this is where it's going to get really nice, because this is where you don't have to go to a different website, you don't have to go to a different area of the game or anything. You can hold the left click, or actually this is only in game. In combat, you can just press it in this screen, but now you get the more specific details of everything that's going to be inside these characters kits. So as you can see from her EX skill, she's going to be receiving light element skill damage up, and it tells you the percentage. Same thing goes with how much damage she's going to be doing to a single enemy, how many hits you're going to get, what they're based off of. So as you can see, effect increases based on strength and dexterity, and then you see the modifier for the HP right here. So you're going to see every little nuanced detail of these moves here. And not only that, you can also look at how it looks like with the full 10 skill levels with this update, or yeah, with this update basically. So this is a really good change and really good quality of life. Not only that, now you can, if you want to, which holy crap, that is scary to see all my shards go away. If you really wanted to, now you can limit break all at once, which is really nice to see. This is a really good quality of life, especially for the A ranks and the the A ranks and the S ranks that are in the game. That way you can limit break them as much as possible. And we also have the same thing for the delimiter. If you really wanted to limit break them with the delimiter, you can do that as well. The next thing to go towards is the Daphne, which is the brand new material that is very, very, very limited. You do not, I mean do not, if there's one thing you want to listen to me about this update, you do not want to use this sparingly. Like, you do not want to just plop it on whoever. This is a very limited resource with very few actual places to grab these. This is going to be a material that allows you to get one skill slot and 10% boost to all stats, if I'm not wrong. And with that being said, this is only available for that specific Memoria. So let's say I put the Eternal Daphne on Enori, which I want to go to SS1 Enori. You put the Eternal Daphne on her. This means that this specific Enori gets a skill slot and the 10% boost, as you can see right here. If you go to Enori SS2, she will not have that extra skill slot and she will not gain that 10% boost. That is only for that one specific character. So if you are going to be putting this Eternal Daphne on any character, there's only two you want to put this on: super meta or your favorite character known to man. So if you want to put this on a super meta character, characters like Enori, characters like Sutama in the future, any of these specific characters that are just like giga broken and are good on any team, that's a character you want to put the Eternal Daphne on. Unless, let's say your favorite character in the game is Aoi, and you really, really, really love this Thunder Aoi. You want to use her as much as possible as your favorite character. You don't care about other characters that come out in the future. Maid Aoi is your favorite one. Not SS1, not the Admiral in the future, this specific Aoi. Then you would use the Eternal Daphne on her. Those are the only two characters, or the only two instances on when you should use this material, because this is a very sparing material, very limited, and there's not a lot of ways to get this. So you want to make sure that you are pumping this out or building these up, because yes, it will take time to grab and you're not going to be able to just put them on whoever you want. So make sure to not just throw them on whoever you want and, you know, hope and pray it worked out. So that is one thing to look at. Another thing to look at when it comes to some of the characters in the game, specifically, let's say we're looking at this Megumi. Now there are going to be two different things that we can look at, which is really nice. One, now it tells you what your bond level is with these characters in this menu, allowing you to immediately go to the socializations to be able to get that bond level up, which of course allows you to be able to go into the Memorias and then level them up, as you would see here with these stat increases, because these are tied to the bond events, and being able to see what bond events you're missing allows you to easily go ahead and get those done, throwing you straight into them, which is really, really nice. Not only that, you're also able to look at Memorias you don't have. I don't have SS1 Megumi, but I can look at what she has. I can see what the moves do. This one has a chance of stunning and also deals crush damage, which is really, really cool. Not only that, she has more crush damage moves and then another full crush damage move. So this is really cool to see that now you're able to look at everything, even with characters you don't even have. So you're able to look at that. You're also able to look at the socializations if you finish them all, which is all really nice. You can also revert them from here as well, which is really, really good. This allows you to revert again. You're able to revert as much as you possibly want all in one go. Usually this was a slower process, not that many people wanted to do that many reversions all at once. But the really great thing about the reversion process is, if we go to the teams, the reversion process no longer takes away XP, which I think is a really good thing. And I think we can only do it in that mode, maybe. It seems like that might be the case. Reversion no longer takes away SP, which I think is a really good thing for all characters, because being able to revert and not have to worry about you rebuilding back those levels is a really good thing. And not only that, you're also going to be getting more stats to every stat. Before it was a couple of stats, one maybe plus luck, one extra strength. No, now it's one plus all stats, and you're also going to be receiving an extra skill saw whenever you hit those milestones, which is really, really good. And you're also able to see which characters have certain orb skills learned, which is going to allow you to grind towards a specific goal in the future when you want to waste life stones, which is really, really nice. And it immediately takes you to that character or boss specifically to go against, which is really, really nice to see. Besides the actual Memoria portion of this game, last thing to talk about is going to be the modes themselves and some of the more quality of life that we've been given with those modes. With those modes included, we're talking about the Anacronies and also score challenge. So looking at the, let's say for score challenge, because I've already done my score challenge. Now we'll be making videos on this specific score challenge with the Angel Beast characters. You're of course going to be receiving the rewards as usual, and hey, this isn't a big deal for a lot of people, but for those that were able to get a high score on first try, all the rewards pop up at once. There's no clicking through every single one. You can just go through all of them all at once, which is going to be really nice. Not only that, with the score battle, you're also immediately going to see all of the intensities, and you're also able to get all of the challenges done, and they plop you straight into the fight. So there's no more waiting for you to go inside the hub world, then going into the door, then going into the monster, then going into everything else. No, you immediately go into the battle, which is really nice. Another thing to note when you're seeing the quality of life update within battle is that now you're able to see hit count, and you're also able to see who has what buffs. As you can see, I have the hit count buff on Yinksha onto Megumi, and it's telling me that I've already put it on Megumi, which is really good. So now you don't have to guess if you already buffed out a character or which character you buffed out, because sometimes you forgot, you don't know if you put it on the right character, you don't know if you misclicked, you don't know if you even buffed the character correctly, which is a really nice thing. Not only that, we also get to see that you can hold the left click button on the boss, and then you can see what the resistances and the weaknesses are and how much the damage is increased or decreased based on, you know, their resistances and their weaknesses. There's gonna be 50% for fire and light. There's gonna be 80% reduced for the damage that he's going to take for ice and dark. Not only that, you also can look at the moves and what they do by holding left click on them, which is going to show you the more detailed parts of these moves, like how Yinksha is able to give you a 95 to 106% skill damage increase. And not only that, she's also going to be adding 5 hits of 10% additional damage on one time for each multi-hit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do one turn just so I can show you the other portion of this, which I really love personally. I did not enjoy looking at the characters themselves to see if they have the hit count buff, because what you would usually have to do is throw the character on field and then you would see the crystals. You would have to wait, of course, to see if they have the crystals. You would also have to wait and see if you finished giving them the hit count buff, because you would have to do it twice and not remembering if you did so, especially with certain characters like Kanzaki, where she gives herself a little bit less hit count. So you would have to count out the crystals to see if it's enough crystals. Now you can see the crystals, plus you're able to see how much multi-hit is by a buff. Now we finally have a buff counter for multi-hit, which I am very happy for. These are very minute things that a lot of people might not care about, but I honestly really love that they gave this to us, which is probably one of my favorite things in the game for sure. With this specific update. Going into the last couple of things, we are going to look at Anacronies and of course the Orb Bosses. The Orb Bosses are the same exact thing. They're going to take us straight into them, and not only that, a really good thing that we did get that's pretty new, if I'm not wrong, is going to be this Orb skill acquisition progress. This will show you for every single orb which characters have acquired the skill if you've grinded it. As you can see, I'm very lazy. I have not done any of them, but if let's say we can look at skillful means, I have gotten Yinksha and Saika a couple of mastery in it. I've been trying to work on it now that we have Enori's buff, which that is another thing that we have as well. Some of the buffs that we have for some of the characters. So as you can see, Saika and Yingsha have some progress towards them, and any progress you've made to any of these orbs will be shown in this menu here, which I really like. And again, as I've shown already, we do have the buffs for certain characters. Enori has her Pierce crit, which is absolutely insane. She is a very strong character, without a doubt. And one buff, besides the ones we've seen in a lot of the posts we've gotten, one buff that has not been talked about a lot is the fact that this Sierra has her buff without it being announced. This Sierra, as you know, gives crit rate for a couple of turns. If you level up this crit or level up this EX skill, you end up getting the crit rate 89 to 132% for 5 turns. Not only that, you're also getting crit damage increase. So she's gonna be a Saika with longer turns. So no matter if you do damage or not, you are still going to keep this crit rate buff. Even if you use your EX skill, you will still keep it because it is a turn based effect. It is not a use your attacks and it will use the buff. No, this will stay on for 5 turns. So this is going to be a really nice character to have, especially with the buff that she ended up getting for her EX skill, which is really good. Last thing, of course, is going to be the Anacronies themselves. The Anacronies did change a bit, because now we're able to just log in every week on Monday and you're able to get one Anacronie ticket. And this Anacronie ticket allows you to use this whenever you possibly want, which is a really good thing for many players who don't have the time to play, who don't have the time to log in. You will be able to go through all of the bosses that you fought so far in the story, and you have to beat the characters in order. I can't fight Medusa until I fight Deathslug, and Deathslug will of course have some missions that we can clear without using a stat boost. So do not use any of the tiers that we have here, which you can get from any battle that you do within Heaven Burns Red. This will build up and this will allow you to get a stat boost for your team if you're having trouble clearing these Anacronies. But we have don't use a stat boost, clear while using 3 or more 31A members, so that is going to be Ruka's squad, and then clear within 14 turns. Shouldn't be that bad. And then we get an Eternal Daphne from this boss themselves, and 300 quartz and 50 premium tokens. These 50 premium tokens are going to be what you use to be able to grab out this shop. You do want to prioritize in fighting some of the later bosses in the story, because the more later you are in the story and the farther the bosses you are in defeating in the Anacronies, you're able to get more of this shop. You're able to actually basically purchase this shop out, which is actually really cool. There's going to be SS guarantee recruitment script. This is basically for the most part, SS1. Oh, actually no, this is a puzzle piece that you can use to get anybody that has, for the most part, been released in the game a month prior. So this is something that you do want to build up as time goes by. I will have a better video talking about this specific script when we do get enough of these to make a decision. Some SS shards, an Eternal Daphne, S or above recruitment ticket, or passes, a lot of really good stuff here. So this is the change they've done to the Anacronie, which I absolutely love. And then the very last thing, because I did forget, I'm not gonna lie to you, is the scrap shop or the shard shop. This shard shop now is going to allow you to be able to convert shards that you do not need anymore. So of course, as you've been pulling, and this is going to be a little bit more catered towards whales than not, you are going to be able to delete the shards that you don't need anymore from your multis. So if you've max limit broken in SS, you've max limit broken in S, or max limit broken in A, which is way easier with the new limit break changes, you are able to get not only the shards themselves, but you are able to grab the crystals on top of it. So you're getting 2 different currencies from deleting a character shard. With these shards specifically, the A's and the S's, you're able to go into the crystal exchange and buy out some, I guess you could say, items. You can get the miracle bells, S or above recruitment tickets, chalice to do reversion, undo, life stones, flashback battle passes, or boss pass, and dungeon passes. So you have a lot of things you can buy out from here. And not only that, you can also use the A's and the S shards to be able to craft the gold shards. So if you want to, get rid of your A's, you don't really want to level them up, you want to get rid of your S's, you can turn those into shard points. With 250 shard points, you can get one single SS shard. So you can convert these into SS shards, which is really great. Not only are you allowed to limit break more of your favorite SSs, this allows you to turn these basically useless shards that you don't need anymore into not only crystals to help out with buying more materials for your characters, but also allowing you to be able to grab some more SS shards, which is really nice. I've basically gone over what I think is majority of all the changes we've seen in the game. I may have missed some, but I think I've covered the combat, I've covered the home screen, I've covered the Memorias themselves and all the intricate details that we have currently in the game, which I think is really good for, of course, all of us. We've gotten a bunch of quality of life, and also my favorite thing to kick it off or finish it off, for the arena itself, once you completed the arena once to do your AFK grind, you can now hit power saver mode and it saves your best time with that specific, amount of materials that you want, and it lets you immediately go into the AFK mode. I think this is by far one of the best changes for me personally. I don't know about y'all, but it's one of my favorites without a doubt. So other than that, that is going to be it for this video, guys. When it comes to all the different changes we ended up getting in regards to the quality of life update we got for the Angel Beats update. Let me know how excited you are, of course, for all of these different changes, and if there's something I missed, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all on the next one, and peace. One thing I forgot to cover, because it's put in the most weirdest spot, in the extras tab we do have Arts Battle as well. I will be making a video talking about this specific mode, because you do have to go through quite a bit to finish this mode out and learn how to play it. So I will have a tutorial, a guide, all that different type of stuff around this mode. And other than that, we're gonna go ahead and end up this video. See y'all guys in the next one. Peace.